Good evening, everyone. We have the lovely Brad Gosse in the house again. Thank you for coming on again.
Thanks for having me, Mike.
It's actually great because I have a new podcast now, as you can tell, because apparently pink socks were a little too painful. So,
I've
so
I did try one. It was not fun.
I've heard.
I had blood in my stool for weeks.
So, what do you think of this civil war we're in the middle of? It's
Is that what it
beautiful.
is?
Yeah,
I made a joke about Trump today, and everybody just lost their shit. They're like, they're like, I was a fan until now, and it's like, you love a politician that much that you can't even take a joke about him. It was
right.
like a 45-second joke, and it was tame as fuck. And
I
I was
saw it.
like, calm down,
I
everybody.
saw it.
I lost tens of followers.
Tens, just
Yeah, yeah.
dude, I saw that video though, and it was tame compared to like the shit you see on major
It was
television.
super tame. What's up,
Like,
Glitchy Witch and Carrie Campbell?
what is up, everyone? How you all doing? So, Brad, since we last talked, anything new with you? Any new books?
So many new books. So many
What,
new
what?
books. I did Ratchet Pussy, Rumple Foreskin. What else did I do since then? Had I done Mike Hunt too when I saw you? It's been a while since I saw you last.
I
I'm trying
think
to
you
think.
had just released Mike Hunt too.
Yeah. So then I'm trying to think of what I did. Baby in a Hot Car. Humpy the Pig gets an STI. I did. Let me think. Dad's Pussy Magnet, and Christmas is canceled. We're broke.
Oh shit! I haven't seen that one. I saw the other ones.
Yeah, and I've been turning them into songs.
Who does that? Do you do that with AI or do you have
I
somebody
do.
doing that?
I do that with AI. Yeah,
That's cool. I've seen a
yeah.
lot of people doing that. So you really enjoy the work of AI in modern society.
I like stealing work from everybody else, so that's what AI is great at. I'm a good art theft person, and what I like about AI, so like they say uh, good artists copy, great artists steal,
Hmm.
right? But AI is kind of like it's kind of like I don't know if you know the analogy of this from the movie Office Space. You ever see that movie?
I love that fucking movie. Mike
So you,
Judge is a genius.
so when he talks about how we write this computer program and it just takes a fraction of a cent from each person's account and nobody really notices, but it adds up to millions of dollars. He's like, it's like to take a penny, leave a penny, and I take one penny from every place, right? And that's kind of what AI does. It like steals like a little kind of fraction of your art and a little kind of fraction of my art, and it gives me new art, and I'm
It's
okay with
just
that.
it's just enough to get past copyright. It's just,
Well, it's more than that, right? Because it does create something unique for the most part. But like with the music I feed it lyrics and genre and kind of some information. It's not just writing songs. You know what I mean? I have to give it the lyrics and structure it as sort of verse and chorus and all that kind of stuff. But it's the music was purely an experiment. And the first song that I published got like 8 million views, and
damn.
it was the lyric. It was just the words of my book made into a song. And I don't have any, like, I have no musical talent whatsoever. So there's no world where I can put together my own music. And I used to farm it out to like a production company in Indonesia. It was basically a musical sweatshop,
you you ran a
right?
musical sweatshop.
Well, no, I wouldn't say that I ran the sweatshop. I would say that I supported the sweatshop. I gave them money and I was part of the sweatshop machine, but I didn't quite own it. They were doing like one song a week for me, and they're on Fiverr, they're doing lots of songs, but you know, either you're giving the work to AI or you're giving it to sweatshops or you're giving it to child cobalt miners. There's no in between.
So you'd rather just give it to AI and just risk the next Terminator movie.
I mean, if I could get some child cobalt miners in here, I would totally make that happen.
Dude, that's fucking badass. By the way, Carrie Campbell asked, where can I see his work? Well, he's on TikTok, you're on Instagram,
Amazon. If you Google my
Amazon.
name, if you look me up on Amazon, Carrie, I have 158 books published. including My Racist Dog Only Trusts the Whites, Buster the Perverted Ghost, Race Wars, Mom's Only Fans, New Beginnings from Difficult Choices, 101 Ways to Not Kill Your Baby. That's a good miscarriage gift. Child Services, They're Coming for You and Your Big Sister Too.
My favorite that you did was My Racist Gran Says We Still Can't Trust the Japs.
That's a fan favorite. I read that one. I do a lot of stand up.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I'll pull out a book on stage just because sometimes people don't know who I am, and then I pull out a book and they're like, "Oh, you're that guy," and so I usually read My Racist Gran because it's a crowd pleaser. They love the Racist Gran.
See, you should have read that at the Trump rally. That would have.
I mean,
What
it works.
What do you think of what was his name, Tony Hinchcliffe? At that rally, do you think comedy has a place? Like we can talk about politics and joke about it, but do you think it has a place at an actual rally like that?
I mean, that's up to the politician that's running. Do you know what I mean? It's not up to us watching the rally. It's up to the supporters and the person who's running for office, and it clearly worked for Trump. See, here's the thing, right? Like, and this has recently happened to me where, Tony Hinchcliffe, not that I would compare myself to him, but like he got booked on basically what happened here is he got booked on a gig that he knew was going to fucking bomb. He knew this was going to blow up. He knew he was going to say some shit that was going to get clipped out in the news to make him look like this racist rant, happened and all this kind of stuff. He knew what he was doing. He knew exactly what he was getting into. I recently got offered a corporate gig, and they were like, "We want you to come." There was an insurance company, and I'm like, somebody's not done their homework here because I am not a corporate gig comedian. But every comic knows the rules here, right? When someone reaches out to you and says, "Hey, we have a check for you. We want you to come speak at our insurance company," you come and you bring the dirtiest jokes you have, right? And you ruin that luncheon.
Because you're getting paid regardless.
You're getting paid either way, but now you have a great story to tell about the gig, right? Mm-hmm. So that's what Tony did. He just went and told this. He just went and did his jokes, which were hilarious. Let's be fair. You know what I mean? Like they were funny jokes. Sure, they appear to sound racist when taken out of the fact that his only goal was to make people laugh. But. Or whatever. They didn't even sound racist. It was just like he just called Puerto Rico a garbage dump, and a lot of people think that it is a garbage dump. So who cares? Like, everybody's so wound up. It's like, who cares? Like, and I think it's easy for people. Like, there's a lot more finger wagging that goes on in politics than anywhere. But anytime, like, I made a joke about Joe Biden and a whole bunch of Democrats lost their minds, and then I made a joke about Trump and a whole bunch of Republicans lost their minds. Most people don't care, but then there's this fraction of Americans that treat this like religion, and it runs so deep in their blood, and they don't care who the candidate is, they don't care what the issues are. It's like, I'm a Republican, my daddy was, whatever. And that's just it, and that's great for them. But those people, they have no place here. Like they're just so wound up and so angry all the time.
And these politicians don't give a fuck about us. Let's be honest. Like they don't care.
Right.
As much as these people want to think, like, and they don't even vote. And I've seen this. People don't vote based on what is best for them anyway. They vote just party name. Like you said, my daddy voted that way. Like, just be able to take a fucking joke. Life is not that serious.
Every election. So you got those people, right, who are like diehards on their side, the left, the right, whatever. Those people don't decide elections. The undecided voter decides election. The swing state decides the election. So that's where they focus. It's almost like Moneyball. They just focus on these states that, that are going to, and I'm Canadian. So I'm talking out of school here because I don't even know how your political system works beyond what little information I've just dropped on you. Like I'm telling you right now.
You're allowed to vote apparently as long as you're dead.
Yeah. I just have to pretend I'm dead and I can vote as a Democrat.
right? Like that's
Yeah.
just fucking crazy to me, all this. I don't know. And they also don't realize that the way our system is built, I don't know why we went in politics, but whatever. The way our system's built is our votes aren't what initially matter. It's the
Right.
electoral college. They
Sure.
decide.
Yeah.
Like who the
And the mail-in ballots and the dead people and the voting
yeah,
machines.
and the dead illegal immigrants.
And yeah, and the people who didn't show ID because apparently there's a certain some color skin people can't get ID because it's too difficult.
I don't think that's the politically correct term, colored skinned people. I don't
Some
think
colored skin people.
we're all color skins,
We're
bro.
we're all coloreds at the end of the day.
That's your
I like colored greens. They're my favorite greens.
colored greens, the
I
most
like 'em.
racist
I
of
like
green.
'em. I like a colored green. Well, no, the colored green is not racist. We are racist against the colored green. That's how that works.
Oh, racism against colored greens.
Yeah.
Get that on a shirt.
Yeah.
You try to, but I want to give a shout out to my sponsors. We have those now over here. We're getting official. AR Design and Photography and Riff Media Group. They did my little logo over there. I like to thank all the people that have helped me along the way.
Thank the little people.
Thank the little people. They're little. You have little people, but they're just sweatshop workers for you.
The cobalt miners for my my Tesla battery.
I actually fucking hilarious thing, dude. I posted the advertisement for us talking, and somebody's like, "When will people think about the miners?" And I posted a GIF of like a underground miner, and I'm like, "Yes, protect the little people underground."
Yeah, I have a book called My Dad Grooms Miners, and it's about a guy who cuts hair in a coal mine.
Yeah, I like that one too.
That's a good one. Yeah.
That's a real good one, dude.
I love
Dude,
miners.
That's probably why you get shit, bro. Plus, you're on Omegle for a little while. Now that that's dead, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna find another random video chat server?
I go to daycare centers now.
Fuck, dude, you're quick. That's what she said. Are you froze?
No.
Oh, damn.
Just making it weird.
Oh, I like it weird. I like it weird.
That's what I do. Sometimes I just live in the silence and make it weird.
So, do you enjoy getting death threats from people?
Kinda. Like, I enjoy that what I do matters enough to make people want to kill me.
Yeah.
Or buy tickets to a show or buy a book. You know, it's either one or the other. So I feel like, you know, if some people are voting with their wallet and some people are voting with a gun, hopefully I'll make enough money before I get shot to take care of my kids, you know?
Because I was always told, the reason why I ask is because I was always told, because I do stand up as well in the local area, that you would rather get hate or a sigh than no reaction at all.
Yeah, I don't want to be boring. I'd rather be triggering to some and hilarious to others than mediocre.
Like Jerry
I've seen. Well, you know what? I mean, I think he's funny, but you know, like everybody has their lane, and my lane is the crass and the ridiculous, and sometimes that gets me in trouble. But I'm good with that because I like the trouble. The trouble equals dollars. Trouble equals publicity. Trouble equals eyeballs. So I'm here for it. Bring it.
At the end of the day, the martyr is always the hero.
Yeah, but you know, I think it's we just live in a weird world where people feel like they can say whatever they want online. And these people nobody's going to kill me. They're going to say they're going to kill me. I've had people say, I'm coming to your next show and I'm going to bludgeon you with a shovel. You know, actual like credible threats. And I just go, I don't bring the police. I just go to the next show. You know what I mean? And you know, if someone shows up with a shovel, like, okay, you know, I guess today's the day I die. But like, till then, I don't know. Like, there's so much, like, everybody's so butthurt over everything now. Like, we've never been more sensitive than we are now. And it's just so sad. Like, shouldn't we be harder? Shouldn't we, like, I don't know. Harden
See,
the fuck up is what I'm trying to say.
I agree with you in a sense, but I also somewhat disagree because I think as a society, different generations was weak comedy. Because if you look at like George Carlin and the early greats, they got arrested for their jokes. At least we're not getting arrested yet.
Well, that depends where you live.
True.
Here in Canada, some speech is no longer protected. So, sometimes you got to watch what you're going to say, and the thing is too, Mike, it's like hard for, like, how old are you?
I'm 32.
You're 32. Okay. So I'm 50. I'm maybe 51 in like a few weeks, right?
You look good for your age.
I appreciate that, but that's not what I'm fishing for here. What I'm trying to tell you is I come from a fucked up generation.
Mm-hmm.
People don't understand how like messed up Gen X kids are. Right? Like, we grew up wanting Bill Cosby to be our dad. Right? And Michael Jackson taught us to beat it. You know what I mean? And like these people, like think about, and like you do, like, I don't know, because you're in your 30s, you probably don't understand the impact and the amount of influence and the amount of content. Like, Bill Cosby put out so much content in the 1980s. You have no idea the volume of work that this man did and the amount of mind share he took up in our lives, right? Because he wasn't just Dr. Heathcliff Huxtable on the Cosby Show, with his weird sweaters and his zip-zop zippity doo-dops or whatever. He was Fat Albert,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
And then not everybody remembers this, but Bill Cosby was like a public service television. Like, he did hours of PSAs, like long videos, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so on, like, when we went to school, they would like push these TVs into the classroom when the teacher didn't feel like working, right? And they would turn it on, and that's fucking Bill Cosby telling us not to litter.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And then he's like, so on the weekend, he's, drugging and raping bitches. And Monday to Friday, he's telling us to recycle.
You're good with words. But yeah, that is true, dude.
So it's like, so it's hard for me to even censor myself, because like these were our, like, I watched Harvey Weinstein movies. This was my, we were fed rapist content, constant rape content from rapists, Michael Jackson, Thriller, raping boys.
There's another one that a lot of people, it's still kind of under the radar, Jeepers Creepers. If you're a horror fan, the guy that did Jeepers Creepers, he's a child predator, and he was before the movie even came out.
Was he the Nickelodeon guy? Was he that fat Nickelodeon guy?
No,
he was also a pedophile.
No, that's Dan Schneider.
Is it pedophile or pedophile?
I don't know. Pediophile, Pediolite. I don't know.
Pediolite. Pedophiles give Pediolite to their victims.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
Dan Schneider was the alleged. There's no evidence towards him, supposedly, but there is one. His name was Brian Peck. He was the one that actually, I think it was Drake Bell he attacked.
Like, everybody's like, it's just coming out now that everybody was a rapist.
Yep.
So, can we just?
You're
It's like, can we just say that everybody's a rapist?
Not everybody, because I'm not guilty of that.
Yeah, but some allegations may come out. Some people get accused that didn't do it.
True.
So maybe you'll be one of those people.
True. Like, kind of like what happened with Johnny Depp.
Well, we don't know. We don't know. That's,
That's the thing is a lot of people don't realize is whether we're innocent or guilty in somebody's eyes, we're guilty, and nothing we say will fix that.
100%. 100%.
And we as a society, we don't know. We weren't fucking there.
That's why I like to throw freak off parties.
Is that your new book?
Actually, I'm doing a show on the 29th in Toronto, and I'm calling it the Freak Off Comedy Show. I just actually posted a poster of it, and it's like I photoshopped myself into the Diddy that black and white photo of Diddy and J Lo and Jay Z and stuff.
Yeah.
I stuck myself in the photo, and yeah,
You gotta
I'm
love
gonna
that fucking
I'm gonna
internet.
capitalize on the Diddy sitch.
So you're gonna be the next guy to throw freak offs?
Well, I already do. I'm just having another one on the 29th. So
Have
I invented the freak off. I showed Diddy
oh,
how it
okay.
was done, and he just had more money than me, so he did more of them.
If it comes out that you actually did, I'm gonna be the dude to break that news.
Okay, I love that for you.
I'm like, I didn't know at the time. He was not joking.
Yeah.
I do have a
This is
question
where you
though.
go. This is where you become, seasoned journalist,
Yeah.
and you get your big break because you broke the story that Brad Gosse is also a roofying, Pedialyte, freak off party host.
You know what's really weird though is what you just said for one. Um, but what's weird is with comedy is has there ever been like a joke that you've told or a book that you've written where you're like, probably shouldn't have said that. Like it even made you cringe.
Well, maybe a joke that you know, I maybe cringe because I wouldn't tell that joke now because I'm a better comic than 2 years ago. So if I watch a stand-up clip from 2 years ago, I might cringe at a joke I told then, but not right after telling it, not 5 minutes after telling it.
Mhm.
No, I've never. I like the I just read Rick Rubin's book not long ago, and one of the things he said that really stuck with me was the best work divides the audience, and that's happened to me today. That happened to me, and I think about it, and I remember the day when I lost the biggest percentage of my audience. I lost like 7,000 followers in a single day
Damn, dude.
because the Queen of England died, and I made a whole bunch of dead Queen jokes. It was like the whole day. It was just fucking dead Queen, dead Queen, dead Queen. And every British follower was just losing their mind and how dare you be disrespectful to our Queen. And I'm like, come on. Like, she lived the best life. Like, she's dead. We can joke about it.
Yeah, she was like
Like,
900 years old.
she's going to be fine. She's going to be fine. And they just like, and I lost like 7,000 followers that day. And that was probably the closest I came to that, but I never took it down because the fucking jokes were gold. They were funny. And I don't even know what they are now. I'd have to go back and look, but like, it was like, all day I was just like dead Queen, dead Queen, dead Queen. And, she was old and she was disrespected my fam and she disrespected my family. You know what? Like she's the Queen of England. Like who gives a like? Do we really need to protect her from this little internet comedian in his basement in Toronto? Like that's what this is the line you need to draw in the sand right now, and so like it's only been times like that where I watch my follower count drop and I see a whole bunch of people telling me they're leaving and announcing their departure, where I'm like, well, I mean, I guess that wasn't for everybody, but it's also a really good opportunity for me to clean the dummies out of my audience, because there's a certain group of people in my audience who came in for one joke. They followed me off one reel and they're like, okay, I like this guy. And then they unfollowed me off another reel, and they were never there for the whole ride, but they're not really comedy fans. They can't, if you can't take a joke about your favorite politician, or if you can't take a joke about something that you like, or a topic that you think is off limits. Like some people are just like, domestic violence is off limits. And it's like, nope, I'm going to have a book about a dad hitting a mom. Like, and she's on the floor in the cover. Like, I don't care. Like I will hit, because of the whole Bill Cosby raised me. That's what you're getting.
Well, the thing is, though, is people tend to forget that comedy is the last line of defense when it comes to like trauma and it comes to even free speech. We're the last fucking line of free speech.
Are we?
Like, and
I feel
that's
like
it.
I feel like it's the first
People need to
line.
realize that comedy helps people cope with their fucking trauma. Traumatic things can be funny. We're not
Of
saying that
course,
the
yeah.
actual act is funny. We're saying the joke is funny.
Well, yeah, joking about a bad thing is not the same as doing the bad thing.
No, exactly. And I've heard you say that before. And people don't really realize that if you don't like the joke, why do you have to announce your departure in the first place?
Right. Well, I also like to, especially with the books, I always like to remind people that they're cartoons and that, when bad things happen to fictional characters, nothing bad happens in the real world.
Yeah.
So when I tell a story about a daddy hitting a mommy in a flat picture book of cartoons, nobody's actually getting hit anywhere and nobody's encouraging anybody to hit anybody. So stop being offended on behalf of the cartoons because nobody got hurt.
And also, like, similar to being offended in that behalf of cartoons, I see people a lot of the time getting offended for a group they don't even belong to. Like, they're saying
it's
that
often that, yeah.
Yeah, they're like, that group's too stupid to realize they should be offended, so I'll do it for you. I'm like, no,
Right.
fuck,
Yeah.
I
It's
had
like when people tell me I'm punching down, and I always say, "Can you point out which groups are inferior so I can stop punching down?"
I love that response, dude. Well, I had dreads at one time.
And I'm like, then I punched up at the Queen, and you unfollowed me. So what the fuck?
Well, I had dreads at one time, and it was always white people that got upset. They're like, "You're appropriating a culture." I'm like, I'm not at all. I'm just wearing.
Okay, let me see your iPod. Let me see how much black music you have on your iPod right now. Let me see it.
I have a lot of Bob Marley and a lot of
like you tell that to the person who's telling you you're appropriating culture. What'd you have for dinner last night? Oh, burritos.
Fucking Mexican food. Well, what's crazy is that history is I'm part Celtic. Irish people had dreadlocks.
Well, it doesn't
matter.
It doesn't matter who had them. Nobody owns anything.
No.
You know what I mean? The AI is stealing it all anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Well, I'm not walking around with blackface. Like, I'm not doing that.
But that's not cultural appropriation either. Black people don't wear blackface. They just are blackface.
Bro, you're wild. I fucking love it. Can you come on here more often and just piss people off?
Maybe. Yeah, I like pissing people off.
But it's weird because some of the best racial jokes that I know that I've heard came from people of that race.
Sure. Everybody's racist. We're all racist. Yeah. White people, black people, brown people. Where I live, there's more brown people than anybody else. I think they're on my street. My street's like 20% white people.
Mm-hmm.
And brown people hate black people more than anybody hates black people. Mm-hmm. They hate them. Like, every group has another race that they hate.
Or their own race.
or sometimes within their own class system or race within. Yeah. It's like us, right? We can be racist against, or not racist. It's not racist anymore when you hate other white people. It's xenophobic, right? When you're like, I don't like the Polish.
See, what also people don't realize is racism. A lot of people use the word racist when they actually don't mean racist, because racism is where you think your race is more superior than others, not hate just one race.
Right. Yeah. You have to believe that you're the best race. Yeah. And that you have some physical and mental capabilities that the other races don't have. That's the true definition of the racist. But now what we've done is we've turned the bigot into the racist.
Yeah.
And then now everything's Hitler. And now everything's Nazi and everything's fascist, and they're using all these extreme terms, which is kind of like not fair to Hitler.
Go on. How's it not fair to Hitler?
Well, Hitler goes down in history as one of the most evil dictators ever in sort of like recorded human history, like until we go back to like Genghis Khan, right?
Yeah,
so
horrible piece of shit.
Like he was the best at being a shitty person.
Yeah.
Right? But now we basically label everything Hitler. Oh, you and Hitler would get along, or Donald Trump is Hitler. That
so
really
waters down what
me.
he did is what you're saying.
It diminishes Hitler's contribution
to racism,
to evil. right?
Mhm.
He was an evil man. He did evil things, and it's like saying, it's like your kid steps on a grasshopper for fun just to see it get squished, right? And you're like, fucking Jeffrey Dahmer over here. You know what I mean? It's like, no, he's not, having sex with torsos. He just stepped on a grasshopper. You're making it too extreme. So it's like you can't label someone Hitler when they just want to keep out some illegal Mexicans.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or if
Not that I'm pro Hitler. I'm just saying, he was a super bad guy, and if we start to label other people, it kind of waters down how bad Hitler really was. If everybody's Hitler,
yeah.
you know.
Sounded like you were like doing an advertisement for Hitler there for a minute. I'm glad you specified.
Well, I mean, he's dead, so we can't sell what he does anymore. We can't advertise for him, but we can talk about how evil he really was.
I
Do you know
did
what I mean?
notice that though. People are comparing not just Trump, but people are comparing various people to Hitler, and now it doesn't seem like what he did was as evil as it actually was.
That's what I'm saying. That's
Yeah.
exactly what I'm saying. Everything is not Hitler, and I mean,
And Dahmer.
or Dahmer.
I don't think
know.
we'll ever have another Jeffrey Dahmer.
Oh, we'll have it for sure. We'll have another Dahmer. We won't have another Hitler, but we'll definitely have another Dahmer.
We
And I'm
probably
here
already
for it.
have one.
I mean, I think. I mean, my favorite thing about. Did you watch the Jeffrey Dahmer drama on Netflix?
I watched that, and then I watched the Dahmer tapes. The drama was good, but it wasn't historically correct. But what were
Well,
you
they gotta embellish for some story and sort of flesh it out a little bit. But my favorite thing about that was like you had to sit down and get ready to watch. Like, he's like putting bodies in acid and he's like drilling holes into people's heads. And then at the beginning they're like, warning, this show contains smoking.
I remember that. That was fucking weird, dude.
Like, why are we doing this? You really want you want me to see the smoking, but you want to see him, I'm going to watch him fuck a torso?
That'd be kind of like those Terrifier movies. At the very beginning, contains drinking. Like,
Exactly, yeah.
you can saw a woman in half.
Coarse language.
Are you a fan of horror movies to that extent?
Not to that extent. No, I watched them when I was younger, and my kids love them, but I just don't. I don't know. They don't do it for me anymore. I like I like a movie that's scary, but it doesn't have to be like it could be more thriller than horror.
Mm-hmm. I enjoy a good like psychological thrillers. I enjoy as well. I don't know if you're a fan of those, and if you are, have you seen the movie Number 23?
No, I haven't seen it.
It's a Jim Carrey movie, but it's a psychological thriller. It's one of his more serious roles, and it's actually really good, but it failed in the box office because nobody wanted to see Jim Carrey not be his typical crazy zany self.
Right, but Jim Carrey is certifiably nuts.
Oh, he is, and he was
Yeah.
nuts in this movie, but in a different way. He wasn't
Yeah.
like funny nuts. He was like hurting people nuts.
Right.
Like a different kind of nutball.
Hmm.
And
There was a guy. There's a lot of those kinds of things where you get like a star who's really good, and then they do some obscure, creepy like horror film that nobody ever sees.
mm-hmm.
And in the '80s, there was a movie called The Breakfast Club, and Judd Nelson was the one of the leads in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then he did this like obscure cult film that nobody saw, but I saw it, and it was called The Dark Backward.
Never heard of it.
And it was about a guy who had a third arm growing out of his spine.
That sounds creepy as fuck.
Yeah, and it was weird. It was definitely like film noir. It was dark.
Is that your like favorite film?
No, not by far. No, my favorite movie is Death to Smoochie.
Oh, I've never seen it.
Ed Norton, Danny DeVito, Robin Williams,
Dude, that's a sexy cast.
right there. You know what I'm saying?
Like Danny DeVito is like peak male performance.
Yeah, he's definitely the GOAT.
Like I think he should start an OnlyFans tomorrow. From like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia style. Carrie says hide and seek with Robert De Niro.
Oh, okay.
That's a good movie.
I've never seen that.
It's a good movie. I haven't seen it in a while, but from what I recall,
I don't watch a lot of movies. I just don't have the attention span. I'm more of a TikTok thirst trap watcher.
oh,
I like a 30-second thirst trap.
is it because the attention span is so short nowadays?
It's dropped. My attention span has definitely dropped.
The American way is bleeding into Canadian society. It's successful.
It's the China way.
It's the China. It's the China way. Is that the name of the Chinese restaurant near your house? China Way.
That's right. Yeah.
So, what is your secret to going viral on so many platforms?
You shit out the content. There's no secret. You just have to shit out massive amounts of content. Like I have 3,200 plus posts on Instagram, same on TikTok. Like, I am a content shitting machine. And that's the secret, is just throw so much shit at the wall that a few things are going to stick, and then throw more shit.
So just keep creating.
Yeah. But even like the same content over and over again. You know what I mean? Like, They don't care. Some people will be like, you've read this book before, I'm leaving. I'm like, bye, loser. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to make you stick. I'm trying to, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of people will meet you on the street and say, I follow you, and they don't follow you, but they've seen 20 of your reels. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So they don't have to follow you anymore. It's all about eyeballs. I think last year I did 140 million views across all platforms. Damn. With less than 1 million followers. Well, 1 million plus followers on TikTok, but less than 1 million on the other platforms. The views are what counts. And it comes down to, making a ton of stuff. And sometimes the video you think is going to go viral doesn't, and sometimes the one you think is a throwaway goes viral, and you just have no control over it.
Kind of like that guy on TikTok that went viral because he was just fucking skateboarding while drinking cranberry juice to fucking Fleetwood Mac.
Sure, yeah.
Like,
sometimes you just hit the right vibe at the right time. You know what I mean? You're doing something that is unique and people like it, and for some reason the mood of the collective hive mind is like, we like this today. It's like the Hawk Tuah girl. You know what I mean? It's like, come on. That was like, nobody predicted that. Now she's got a successful podcast. She's the number 3 podcast on the planet. Like, who saw that coming? You know what I mean? From her just, being interviewed on her way out of a bar. Like, you don't know, you never know what's going to be viral.
Right. And you'll never know like how far you'll make it either, because like with Joe Rogan, for instance, he was just the fucking Fear Factor guy and a guy trying to do comedy. And just a few weeks ago, he interviewed fucking Donald Trump. Yeah. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Like, who really knows? The moral of the story is that I was trying to get at is don't give up on your dreams.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this.
And take steroids.
And take steroids. Human growth hormones.
Yep.
Human growth hormones. How do you keep yourself healthy when you're out on the road in Canada?
I don't do that.
You don't?
I'm not a healthy person.
No, you eat fried foods and
I eat garbage.
And garbage. You literally eat garbage. You're like a raccoon. You go out back and eat out of the garbage can.
They call it freegan now. They don't call it raccoon. They call them freegans if you eat garbage.
Oh, because raccoon.
I'm a freegan, which means I only eat free food from the trash.
I was watching this show the other day. It was ever watch Tim and Eric's Awesome Show?
No.
It is basically an acid trip in a TV show. But there's this one character, his name's Steve Brule. and he went to go to this fancy restaurant to like review it. It was like some kind of a fish restaurant. And he's like, well, it was too expensive in there, but we're still going to try their food. And he goes to the trash can out back and he pulls out a crab and he's like eating the like flesh, not even the meat. And he's like, oh, that's garbage. He's like, I don't even, it's funnier when you watch it.
Probably.
Yeah, it's probably a lot funnier. You're the king of awkward. And I mean that by a compliment. Because I see so many videos where you're just sitting there and you're quiet until the person talks. And I love your Omegle videos for that purpose. But how many times do people just skip you thinking that you're like frozen or not going to talk?
Oh, all the time. And a lot of people think I'm AI, which is kind
Really?
of funny. Yeah, because I think it's the sunglasses and the fact that it's kind of just like from here up or whatever. I think they get like kind of, it's just AI. It's not real, And then I'm like,
That's
okay,
sad.
but so so I feel like Pinocchio just sitting here trying to be a real boy, but like I don't know. I don't know. I probably get skipped half the time, maybe more. So the clips you see are the people who don't skip. Some of them know who I am. Some, I leave the YouTube plaque up because kids are like, when they see the YouTube plaque, they're just like, whatever. They stay longer. They want to see where it's going.
Mm-hmm.
It keeps them a little longer.
So you're just here to keep the kids longer.
Yeah, so I can hack their IPs and find out where they live.
Speaking of, it might have been a few years ago now, you had a guy on Omegle who threatened your life.
Hey, they threatened to swap me.
Yeah, he was a Twitch streamer.
Yeah, it was a year ago.
Did anything come of that?
The FBI paid him a visit.
Oh, shit.
And then I ran into him again a couple months ago, actually, and we had a lengthy conversation about it. And at first, he was trying to act like all tough, like, how come the cops never came? And then I'm like, I don't know, dude, I don't know what to tell you. And then later on, he admitted that they did come, and I was like, oh, okay. But apparently, he still threatens people. So
yeah, I looked him up on YouTube, and he keeps having accounts banned, and he keeps changing his name. Honestly, I think he has mental illness or something. He needs to like get some help.
You know who might be able to help him?
Who?
Bill Cosby.
Smart man.
He helped me. So I mean,
He helped you.
yeah, he definitely
He helped
me.
you in your comedy career.
Yeah.
Who is your comedy influence? I don't think we talked about that. Don't fucking say Bill Cosby.
No. I was gonna say Harvey Weinstein. Trying to think. Probably like Dave Attell. I sort of draw from Bob Einstein. Do you know who that is?
No, but I know Dave Attell.
Bob Einstein was Super Dave Osborne.
Oh, okay. That does ring a bell.
But when he went on talk shows, he was very awkward and kind of dry and weird and cold. And I pull a bit of that from him. And then, yeah, probably those two.
As a compliment, if you know who he is, your style kind of reminds me a little bit of like Stephen Wright too.
I know who he is. Yeah.
Yeah, like the real dry comedy, very serious approaching, but you know they're joking.
When I'm on stage doing stand up, the vibe that I put out is like disappointed dad.
I can see it.
Like curmudgeon, angry old man, but like not like high energy angry, like low energy angry, like zero fucks energy,
Kind of like Louis C.K. without the masturbating.
No, there's masturbating.
But less in front of unwilling participants.
I don't know. Probably more.
Okay, so you're like a Gallagher show. You just...
Yeah, more like Gigi Allen.
I'm glad you made that reference.
Juggalo. I got Juggalo vibes.
Not a lot of people know who Gigi Allen is, so I love that.
Dude, I'm a 51-year-old punk rocker. I know exactly who G.G. Allen is.
Did you ever get to see him live?
No, I would not. I would not have subjected myself to having his blood on my face in the AIDS epidemic.
Fair.
Yeah,
That is
he would cut himself with razors on the stage. I'm not. That's not. You know what I mean? That's not. He pissed on his audience. That's not my vibe.
He'd also shit on him too.
Yeah, I was more of like a, Henry Rollins, Black Flag,
Fuck
DRI, like that kind of music. I was into like, but yeah, you start defecating, we got problems. It's not my thing.
I listen to damn near everything, so all them bands I do enjoy. I enjoyed GG's music for the obscurity and the craziness, but I would never have seen him live if I was able to. Like,
Right.
Nope. Like, you can find his live footage on YouTube, which I find weird because he performs naked a lot, but you also can't tell.
Yeah.
Because he had a baby dick.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I think that's the side effect of heroin.
Is it?
I think. I don't know. Heroin, something crazy.
Or you could just be born with a baby dick. I don't know if it shrinks your dick.
It might if you insert it into the tip.
I don't think anybody's doing that, bro. That's just fucked up. That's not.
If you run out of veins, you eventually have to
That's
go.
not a thing. That's not a thing.
You just don't want it to be a thing.
There's no veins in your foreskin.
Speak for yourself. They call me veiny foreskin.
Okay.
That's what you have to call me from now on. Do you ever plan on coming to the States?
Sometimes I do. Yeah, sometimes I do. I've been for a few tours. I've done a few shows over there, and I don't have anything right now, but probably early 2025. I want to come down and do Kill Tony at some point. Go do sort of all the clubs in Austin, Comedy Mothership, and I'd like to do that at some point, but it's not high on my list because financially it works better for me to be right here in my basement.
That's fair. I mean, it's a lot of money.
In front of this camera, I can go live on TikTok and get a better result than a tour through 6 states. Do you know what I mean?
Less money.
And, it cost me $0, and I get paid to do it. So it's, and not that one takes away from the other or that one's better than the other. It's just, it has to make financial sense. So, like I'm working on a new 45-minute set right now that I'm doing on the 29th. That's, I'm testing it out this month, and then that I could probably take on tour because it's a whole new, set. But just comes down to priorities. There's always another book to be done. There's always another, live stream. There's always more videos to make, and that seems to be what pays the bills. Do you prefer the live comedy doesn't.
Do you prefer doing that, or do you prefer live comedy?
I like both equally, I would say. Okay. I'm an introvert, so like I will go and do sometimes I go and do a show where maybe I'm an opener, right? And I'll go and open for another comic, and as soon as my set is over, I'm in my car driving home. Mm-hmm. Like I'm not sticking around to watch the other acts. I don't, not because I don't respect them or any of that kind of stuff. I just don't want to hang around a comedy club. I'm not there to hang out. I'm there to do my job and go home. And so, but when I'm on the stage, I'm super happy to do that. So I like the stage time, but I could take one, or I could have all of one and none of the other. Either way, all here in my basement on camera, social media, 0 live, or 100% live and 0 social. Like I could do either way.
It seems like technology though makes it easier for people to make it because it's so readily available, and you don't have to tour anymore.
Yeah, it does. It makes it easier to be famous and seen without having to, grind it out on the road.
Hell, with AI, you don't even need to be seen.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I know a few people that have YouTube channels and you don't see their face. It's just a cartoon character, and They have thousands and thousands of views.
Yeah.
Like, it's perfect for those kind of people. I was just wondering if you was planning on touring, because I'd love to come see you. And Canada's a bit of a drive. I'd rather you drive here because I'm selfish.
I get that. I get
Yeah.
that.
I want you to stand up in my living room.
I mean, wouldn't be the first time.
We can throw a freak off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get the baby oil ready.
I'll bring the Rohypnol.
Well, what's crazy is that whole ordeal. Everybody was talking about the baby oil shit, and they found out that wasn't baby oil.
Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah, that was liquid ecstasy.
One of actually, I'm good friends with the biggest sex tape broker in Hollywood.
Oh shit.
KB is his name, and he brokered like the Paris Hilton sex tape and the Pam and Tommy, and like he was like the guy, and he was posting on Facebook, to his friends, not like before anybody else knew. He's like, "That's not baby oil, that's GHB," and we were all like, "Oh my god!" And then sure enough, a few weeks later, they're like, "That wasn't baby oil," and I'm like, "Yeah, I know, I already know this stuff."
Great for mind control in the right doses.
I feel like P Diddy had like a real rich person problem,
Mm-hmm.
which is like you have so much money, you bought all the things,
Mm-hmm.
you bought it all, right? You get the jet, you get the Lambos, you got the butler, the staff, all the things, and at some point, you just need to hire sex puppets.
Yep.
Right. And so you just pay these people tons and tons of money. And I feel like, I don't know, we don't know all the details, but I feel like everybody kind of knew what they were getting into. And he was like, look, there's going to be a lot of drugs. You're going to get really fucked up, and I'm going to put my dick everywhere. And, you're going to like it. And then I'm going to give you, $5,000 or whatever. And they were like, so $5,000 for the weekend. That's all they took away.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He's like, yep, here's your fentanyl. You know what I mean? And then it's just like, here's your baby oil. And then, then they get into it. And then later they're like, this trauma, these memories are not worth the $5,000. And they get more and more kind of, like unhappy with the scenario. It's like, it's like when you hire a hooker and she has a bad time.
You think I can afford a hooker?
Well, they come in different, they come in different budget ranges.
Like a fucking going out to eat. Continue.
Sure. You got your taco trucks, and then you got your fine dining.
Yeah, but with the taco trucks, you might get an STD, bro.
Well, it's part of the fun.
But with the Diddy thing, though, I think what happened was he thought he could get away with anything. So I think it might have started off with like consensual parties, and then it went haywire, and he just didn't care because he had all these people in power that had his side, or so he thought.
Yeah. But I think from what I understood, and again, I don't know, because this is all,
Hearsay.
Who am I? Right.
We're just two idiots on the internet talking about shit that we
right.
thought.
We're just pontificating about the freak off consent situation. But I feel like they knew what they were doing. They were getting paid to do it. We know that was the case for some of the victims, quote unquote victims. They were paid. They knew they were going to get drugged and fucked. And then afterwards, they're like, wow, that was way more intense than I thought it was going to be. I feel like a victim. Some of them came forward, but I feel like if you sign up to be a sex puppet, you got to do all the sex puppet stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I think there was some unconsenting parties, though.
Was there?
I don't know. I'm just an idiot on the internet.
Right.
But there is a possibility, because I've seen some very questionable videos of him coming on to people that were not of age.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
There's a very weird video of him with Justin Bieber when Justin was 14. And he's like, you're going to experience the party life and like weird shit, like looking back.
Right.
And I'm not one to say that it happened or it didn't happen, but it seemed off in hindsight.
I mean, look, I'm not standing up for Diddy by any stretch. I
I know.
think,
You're being realistic.
he's obviously a bad guy, but I feel like there's, like, I don't know. It's like when somebody says, "Hey, I'm going to pay you $5,000. I'm going to drug you and there's going to be sex." You know,
Some people would take it.
I'm saying I would take it.
Oh, you'd get used. Would you brag about it?
I would definitely let a black man do that to me for money.
So would you brag about it though in the news? Like, I'm not saying I'm a victim. I was there.
Yeah, I feel like I would use it. I would use it to open doors in Hollywood.
Oh, that'd be on your resume.
Yeah, I'd be like, certified freak off.
Certified sex puppet.
Yeah, certified Diddy abuse. What do we call it? I don't know what we call it. Diddy abuse recovery person.
I have to say this, Brad. This is a impressive thing. We started off with pretty good listeners, and it just went downhill. But I don't care because I enjoy the conversation. That's the thing. A lot of people want to look at numbers and shit.
I like to clear a room. That's kind of my thing.
Yeah, you're a comedian. That's part of comedy.
Yeah, we got to weed out the weak.
Yeah. It's not like I plan on interviewing no presidents anytime soon. That's what's weird is people want to watch what they say because of who might be listening or whatever. If you watch some of the shit that like Joe Rogan has talked about and other podcasters and some of the guests they've had, guests don't look at previous episodes. They look at how many people are listening or what kind of poll you have.
Right.
They don't give a fuck about what your past says unless it's like a freak off party.
Right. I don't look at that. I say yes to every podcast. So I've done some weird shit.
You like weird shit though.
Yeah. My favorite is when you do the podcast and they're like, and they've done no work at all and they show up and they're like, so for those people who don't know, why don't you tell everybody about yourself?
Those people that they're referring to as themselves.
And they just leave you to like tell your story. And I always make it really awkward for them. Like I always say, well, I'm a guy on the internet. Some people call me a pedophile.
Make it very fucking weird for them.
And then they're like, do you care to elaborate on that? And I'll say, no.
And then you leave the call. That would be perfect.
It's kind of like, and like I've done it a few times where I've done some podcasts and I'm just like, I'm just going to make this weird for this guy, because he's so bad at it. And I know the podcast is not going anywhere. So I'm just like, I'm going to be a fucking asshole. And it's so much fun because they haven't done any research. So they don't even know that I'm awkward. They're just like, oh, he's a comedian. He's got a lot of followers. Okay, we'll do the podcast with him. And then that's it. I went on this like podcastguests.com or whatever, and I listed myself and I got all these podcasts and they're like, they did no work at all, and it's like you get on the phone with some like, 40-year-old divorced lady and she's like, my name is Jennifer and I teach people to cash in on their passion. And today's guest is Brad Gosse. And they're just like, and you're just like, okay, and then I just make it really, really weird. And they're like, so Brad, tell us how you cash in on your passion. And I'm like, well, I don't have any passions.
Fuck, dude.
And I don't really make a lot of cash. So
I love that for you.
And I just like, and I'd really like derail the whole thing and just watch them because they can't handle it. They're so used to everybody being on their best behavior. And it's just like I actually thought it would be fun. I had this idea, right, where I want to create a fake podcast, go on podcastguests.com and set up like as many interviews as I can with like these like author, speaker, wannabe, like these people that, there's a lot of people out there that are like, I'm a personal trainer and I want to talk to the world about it. And you're boring as fuck, but okay. And then what I want to do is like line them all up and then bring them on, but be like even more awkward and cringe than normal.
Mm-hmm.
And just like lay into them, just let them have it. Just be like, but ask them like, really like no question that was on their list. Nothing about, I don't care about your book. I want to find out, when the last time you showered with your dad was.
Dude, you should do that. That'd be a top ranking podcast.
Yeah. And just ask you like the most awkward questions. Like, have you ever been spanked?
I actually feel honored because you just nonchalantly said that I'm a good podcaster. So
I didn't say that.
hit the round of applause. Oh, shut up. You did. Don't.
I've been making this awkward from the start. You pointed it out several times.
I like it though.
I know you do.
I love the awkwardness. That's why I invited you on, because I did my research, sir. Right. Your books are not the easiest books to masturbate to, but they're not the most complicated either.
Well, we all have our thing.
You made it awkward, so I got to. That's how I do. Somebody makes it awkward, I got to set the bar as well. We got to be equally awkward in here. Have you ever had a podcaster give up on you? Like,
no, but I've given up on a couple.
You've tried making them fucking feel weird and it didn't work.
It was just like, sometimes you get on with these like, acoustic types or whatever, and it's just like impossible to manage, and so they're just, they're not even getting that you're being awkward because they're beyond awkward. Mm-hmm. I've had a couple of those, really like cringy dudes, and I'm like, what is going on here? I actually did this podcast once with these two dudes, and they were kind of funny. They were comics. Mm-hmm. But, most comics aren't full-time comics. So I always like to ask them, what's your day job or whatever, right? So we get into it and I'm like, what's your day job? And this one guy's like, well, I'm a real estate agent, but, I'm not doing very well at it. And so I spent the entire podcast like grilling him like a sales coach, like, well, why aren't you getting any leads? And why aren't you, like, why aren't you selling more real estate? And he's like, well, some of the realtors like to lie and I like to tell people the truth. And I'm like, well, then maybe you picked the wrong career. Like, you want to sell houses or you want to tell the truth? Right. And I was like, and then, I'd be like, how many houses did you sell last year? And you'd be like 0. And then, and then I'd say, how many prospects do you have right now? And he's like, well, I got this one guy I'm talking to. I think he wants to buy a house, but I'm not 100% sure. And then like, and then they'd get back to asking me questions about my comedy career. And then I'd be like, let's get back to your prospect. Why isn't he pulling the trigger on this fucking house? And he was just like, I just kept like sales coaching the guy through the whole thing.
Dude, you're a dick. And that's that's perfect. Because these people don't realize, and I've noticed this even with daytime television, they want to interview comedians, and then they get butthurt when a comedian's being a fucking comedian.
Right. When they come on and they pull some shit, and they're just like, we didn't really plan for this. We don't want this. Like
I forget his name off the top of my head, but he did a daytime show, and they're like, you compared babies to a gun, and it was like some conservative station. He's like, yeah, babies are like guns. They're kind of annoying for people that don't have one, and they'll be in your school eventually sometime this fall. And I'm like, that's fucking great.
Coming soon to a school near you.
And I'm like, and they were like, you asked me to be here, you didn't do your fucking research.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing when major news networks don't do the research.
But it happens all the time.
Yeah.
And they don't care. They don't care at the end of the day. They don't, they're there for it. But it's, it's fun making people uncomfortable because nobody's used to it. And everybody's so used to being on their best behavior that when someone's acting weirdly, they continue to be polite. And it's really hard for them to come, you can really take it far before they break.
Mm-hmm. See, that's why I love podcasting, because I like the awkward. I like the weird, because I am usually that guy, and it's always nice to have somebody that can relate to me on that level. because I like to be the awkward one in the room.
Right.
And
But
when
weird is funny, right? Awkward is funny now. So it makes it interesting when you do that, because like some people can't handle that, right? Some people are like, I don't want to see the kind of humor where other people are made uncomfortable. And then other people only want to see that. It's like a lot of people love man on the street content, but I couldn't do it. I could never be a man on the street comic.
Well, I was always the awkward comedic guy. I wouldn't even say I was a comedian, just an entertainer. I always have been that way, even in conversation. And I've upset a few people. I've had a few women. It's weird because, like, the way I joke amongst my male friends is we make gay jokes towards each other, like hit on each other. But you're taking the elevator. You're getting the hell out of here. Is that an electric? How far down does that fucking chair go?
It's not the chair, it's a standing desk. The desk is moving up.
Oh, okay. I was like, what the fuck, dude?
Sitting is the new smoking, Mike.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. So I've been smoking the whole time we've been talking, and now I'm stopping.
Okay, I got really confused because I saw you getting shorter. I thought you like got some kind of a disorder that made you get short. If you have to go due to your condition, you look like you have to pee.
Scoliosis?
Oh, you got scoliosis?
Yeah, that's why I have to stand every hour.
Oh, breaking news.
Yeah.
Brad has scoliosis.
I have to stretch out the scolie,
Do you spend a lot of your time sitting making content, or do you make it standing up?
That's a half and half. I spend half of it standing, half of it sitting.
So is that your form of exercise?
No.
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 You're doing stand-ups, dude.
Taking the stairs is my exercise.
You take the escalator, don't lie.
To go pee. Well, I don't have an escalator in my house. That would be at the mall. You know what I mean? I'm not a mall person.
Do you think anybody fucking has an escalator in their home?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Like escalator, elevator, what the fuck ever. But
Joe
Brad,
Biden definitely needs an escalator.
Oh, he needs more than an escalator. That man can't not use fucking stairs. He's the only man that I know that can fall up them.
Yeah.
So is there anything you want to promote? Shows, books? You just wanted to bullshit?
I have nothing to promote. Just
Damn,
a guy.
You're just a guy in your basement. Is that your basement, or are you renting that basement?
Well, it's my basement. Okay. I rent it from myself, actually.
Oh, is that how you profit?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you pay good?
No, I'm a slave driver. Sweatshop.
For coal miners.
Yeah.
Nice. But Brad, I'm going to leave you for the night. I know you're going to get sad. You cried last time, but I would love to have you back on again for would it be part 3 or part 2?
That sounds lovely.
Sounds lovely.
I don't know how many parts we've done.
Well, technically it'll be part 2 because this is a new podcast, new me. When you start that new podcast, let me know.
Okay.
What would you call it?
The Cuck Chair with Brad Gosse.
Better than the casting couch.
I'll get into bed with my girl. No, you'll get into bed with the guest gets into bed with my girl, and then I'll sit in the cuck chair and interview them.
You should just get a hotel room because they come with the cuck chair.
I know. I love every hotel room. I take a picture of my cuck chair. I'm always like, check out the cuck chair in this one, and I always leave it placed like right and like awkwardly in front, like so it's like clearly looking at it, and then so the maid always comes in and is like, "What the fuck happened in here?" You know, it's just like the chair's like perfectly straight on facing the bed, and then I take a picture of it for Instagram, and I'll be like, this week's cuck chair brought to you by the fucking whatever, the Hilton Garden Inn in Omaha, Nebraska. It's just like there's the cuck chair.
Dude, that's brilliant because we all as a society know that that's what the fuck that's for. And hotels are still like, let's put the cuck chair there. Claim it's for laptop use.
Yeah. Yeah. It's for the laptop for sure.
It's for that laptop. But Brad, I'm going to let you go so we have more to talk about next time. Let's do this in a couple months.
Sounds
like,
good, Mike.
like a reunion,
Like a
like
rekindling, like
a
a
like a
re-freak off.
freak off. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for chatting. I hope you had as much fun as I did being awkward and fun together. Guys, go check out Brad. Your website is bradgosse.com, correct?
That's right.
Bradgosse.com. Go check him out on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Anything else that I'm missing?
Snapchat,
Oh, you're on Snapchat?
Tinder,
OnlyFans?
Our Time,
Oh,
J Date.
what the fuck is that?
Our Time. You don't know what Our Time is?
No.
It's for seniors.
Oh, you're not there yet.
It's a dating app for seniors.
You would know.
Well, I'm not a senior, but
You're looking for them.
seniors like me. You know what I'm saying?
You're on that Fet Life too, aren't you?
Come on. No, I don't do that.
Fucking pervert.
No. Kink search.
Kink search.
You know the difference between a fetish and a kink, right?
What?
We'll save that for the next call.
All right. Much love, Brad. You have a lovely rest of your day. And as always, everyone, live long, rock hard.